Hi, my name is Curtis Warren, a musician and teacher. Today we want to talk about having a good sound. Now, having a good sound requires you to do at least a short list of particular things that you need to just improve everything. Now, the first one, so we can just get straight into it, is having good posture. All right. Now, having good posture requires you to be able to sit in a most aligned position so that not only for your body but also for your instrument, because if we come down to our instrument, it defeats the purpose if our body is lined up and then our instrument, we have to come down to the instrument, versus when we are lined up with the instrument, as I'm as I can display now, just as a short view. So every time I go into playing position, I'm not coming down to the instrument. So again, as you line your body up and sit, for people who have back problems or have issues and stuff with their back, I suggest for people to sit back on your chair, all the way back on the chair, and have a chair with a back, of course, attached to it, and just sit up as nice as sit up as much as possible. All right. Now the next thing, just to keep going with this, is breath support. Now, in having a good tone, you need to have great breath support. Now, and great breath support comes from your diaphragm area, and this is more like in your center and your core of your person. And as you take the air in, or you draw the breath of air, we want to be able to take take in the air and then let the air out nice and slow. And this is what we're trying to build the breath, because we want to be able to hold not only short notes, but we want to be able to hold longer notes. And this also helps with articulation and things like that. And if we don't have the support for that, it things don't line up as quite as they need to. All right. And so as we talk about the breath support, again, we want to make sure that we're breathing properly. So we don't want to do anything in the chest. So if I could just do this as a short display. So if we do this, then that is incorrect. So as you see, as soon as I took the air in and then let even just a fraction of the air out, my whole all of the air is pretty much gone. All right. But as I think about my center of where my diaphragm is, I'm able to fill up. And then even with me talking, I'm still holding the air, and then I can slowly let it out. All right. So think about it like a tire or something with a slow leak, and the air is coming out nice and slow. And this is how we want to let the air out. So, and again, this is what we're doing to build the breath. Now, the next thing is thinking about our throat passage as well as our mouth, and then the armature. All right. So your throat, the air is going straight through your throat. So as I try to tell students to, think about what's going on inside of here, I tell them two things. I tell them to either yawn or think about yawning. So I'm gonna cover my mouth, but or yawning, and you involuntarily will open your throat. Now, what you having is this open throat, you can support all your notes and sounds and stuff with this. All right. Now, the other one I tell students as well is to say ah. So like if you're going to the doctor and they're checking your throat, you say ah. All right. I know it's a little weird to do, but as a musician, you think about all these different ways, and some of these things might sound a little weird to do, but I trust me, if you do them, you will get the results that you need. All right. So you say ah, and just open so that you can open up your throat and support these notes. Now, moving on, we think about our mouth and we're trying to keep our cheeks nice and flat. I mean, of course, as you play the saxophone and or the clarinet or even the flute for that matter, you want to keep your cheeks as flat as possible so that you keep the integrity of the note or notes that you're playing in tune as much as possible. And then after a while you start to build the strength, which leads me to the last point of the armature. Now the armature, as we hold onto the mouthpiece, and we have our mouthpiece ligature and reed, and we're just, or at least for this particular instrument, we're trying to make sure that we're not clamping down on the mouthpiece, or we're not so loose that we can't even keep a stabilization of sound. And this is what we want to do each and every time that we play the instrument. We want to keep things nice and stable. So now we talk about long tones. So long tones have been, this is how you build your sound. You have to do long tones. There's no way around it. But if we do stuff that hopefully will incur the same type of results, like maybe playing a simple song really nice and slow and flowing and holding these notes out so that we can get the nice same result and still sort of kind of keep some type of focus. So, a really simple song is like Joy to the World. So all I'm gonna do is just play from the beginning and come down and try to do it in one breath. And this is something that you can do to help, build your tone. All right. So you can take a simple melody, a simple phrase, and play it nice and slow, so that you can get the. And we're just trying to build the strength in the armature. This is all we're trying to do. All right. So that helps with building your sound or building your tone. All right. So now the next thing that I wanted to talk about again is being able to connect all these things at the same time in order for the sound to occur. So now long tones, the traditional long tones, we should do those too. All right. So even if you do these things for like 5 minutes, and you take some notes out of a scale and just play them, and you're trying to focus on the notes and try to. So I tell students it's like this. It's like you're playing target practice, and you have a bow and arrow, and then you have your target, which is some distance away from you, and you're trying to shoot the target. You're not trying to shoot over the target. You're not trying to shoot beside the target, to the left or to the right. You're not trying to shoot below the target, but you're trying to hit it dead center. And this is what you got to do with your notes. You got to hit them dead center each and every time that you play them. All right. So, and then as you're doing this, I also imagine it's like me drawing a straight line. So if you ever try to draw a straight line without a ruler, I mean, it's sort of hard to do, but I mean, you can draw a straight line. It just takes a lot more concentration to do it. All right. And this is what you want to do for your notes. You want to draw that nice straight line of sound. All right. So now what I'm going to do is just play a F. And I'm just going to just play it out, and no bends, and hopefully no interruptions, no anything, and you're just getting pure sound of the tone that you're playing. So we'll do this right here. Now, when you do this as often as possible. Now, I will say that sometimes the higher notes require more air as well as the lower notes. I chose a note in the middle because the notes in the middle are generally easier to hold and sustain. But again, you have to practice building the breath in order to do these things. All right. So now I hope everybody learned something new, and hopefully we can just continue the journey of doing these things. And again, if we could just take a few moments and really concentrate on a note or sounds, or some notes and some sounds, and really just try to shape them, because this is all we're trying to do when we're practicing long tones and things. We're just trying to shape the sound. We're just trying to shape the notes. All right. So, all right. Happy learning. I'll see you next time.